This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
Hello, it is Ryan, and we could all use an extra bright spot in our day, couldn't we? Just to make up for things like sitting in traffic, doing the dishes, counting your steps, you know, all the mundane stuff. That is why I'm such a big fan of Chumba Casino. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere with daily bonuses. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. That's ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
At Ritual, Mother's Day is kind of a big deal, and we're celebrating accordingly. Find your ritual. If mom needs a bit of stress relief, digestive support, or is looking to support glowy, smooth skin, do it today with 40% off your first month for a limited time at ritual.com/podcast. That's RITUAL.com/podcast for 40% off your first month. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Hi, I'm Bob Pittman, Chairman and CEO of iHeartMedia. On this week's episode of Math and Magic, I'm sitting down with the one and only Bobby Bones. We're exploring the power of audio.
Yeah, I don't fit into one specific hole. I think that is what endeared me to listeners. That's why I'm here now, because I talk to people that grew up like me, have sensibilities like me, and have loyalties like me.
Listen to Math and Magic, stories from the frontiers of marketing on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcast, or wherever you get your podcast.
Fan.
Is apparently out the window. We've got some other issues here at our Target Center location. And look who showed up a little bit early. Craig Kilborn is indeed back. We were just kind of like pacing the Skyway area. Is that pretty much it, the last few minutes?
I don't like to be late, first of all.
No, you are very prompt.
And I was going to stay outside the cage and stare.
And go do the Dylan Brooks thing?
Do the Dylan Brooks at midcourt just to intimidate you. Guardsy was already flustered and waved me in.
Do you find it at all
flustered is the word.
Ironic that I apparently on Day Green's latest podcast, he expresses disappointment in Dylan Brooks' sportsmanship after the game because apparently he escaped without, shaking hands or anything. And again, that's annoying, I guess, to a certain extent. But I'm not. If you're thinking about guys who should be in the position of judging others when it comes to deportment during games, after games, I'm not sure. I'd put Draymond Green at the top of the list. How about you?
Yeah, I have a major issue with Draymond Green.
Now, what is it? Is there one big grievance with him, or is it a lot of little grievances?
Well, I'll tell you. So he both Jimmy Butler and Draymond bother me, and they also concern me because they're high IQ players, and Jimmy has an aura, and I'm very concerned about this series, even though Steph is out, but we'll get to that. But I've asked people, who bothers you more? And Draymond bothers me more because Jimmy just plays the game and plays it very well. He does weird things that we don't see, we hear about. He's been suspended by the Heat. There was a weird practice with the Wolves, and we hear about it. He doesn't do anything on the court that is obnoxious. Draymond, we know, will purposely, he'll take a charge, fall down, and as he's falling, he will strategically look like it's an accident and slap the guy in the head or knee him in the groin.
Yes.
And I can't stand that. And then like you said last year on Turner Sports, he was attacking Rudy Gobert, and it was ridiculous. So he's got, and by the way, I'm not saying they're mental health issues, but he had to take a leave of absence last year.
He did. That's true.
So he's got major issues. And what I do think is, I thought it would flare up in game 1, but someone said, no. Once they're down 15, then he'll do something.
Exactly. He was very smart about it. There was no need to do it, and I think it sort of defanged the crowd too when he was. The one time he fouled Ant hard going to the basket, he held him up.
Yes.
Not only didn't shove him to the ground, he held him up. And it's like, that's how sly he is. And by the way, I think you'll agree, he ain't, at his physical prime, but he knows how, as you say, how to play. He was very good. He is the orchestrator of their defense. The guy is because I was getting texts, he's terrible. He can't do anything but cheap shots. Like, well, no, he can cheap shot. But the fact is, he can make a lot of winning basketball plays.
Yeah. He stopped Sengun at the end of the game up in Golden State. He beat him up. I can't believe he was hitting his 3-pointers the other night.
Yeah, that was not helpful.
And someone said, you got to move. I guess it was maybe Johnny an hour ago. I listened to Johnny Athletic. I think he said maybe move somebody else onto him as opposed to Rudy.
Yeah.
But can I just get something? I got to get
it off your chest.
Yeah, I got to get my head straight.
Okay, you got time.
And I need help. And this guy, Guardsy, was not helping. I'm preoccupied with Pat Spencer. And it's the combo of it's the mustache and number 61, but it just throws everybody off.
Yes.
That Tom Selleck's husky nephew is on the court, and we're like, what is that guy, a basketball player? And I had this idea this morning, then I backpedaled on it, was let's throw off the Warriors. Let's boo him every time he touches the ball. But then Draymond will rally around. The team might rally around that. So forget I said that. But he is when he did that rolling Clyde Leveillette hook.
How about that?
The look over
honestly.
Julius Randle. And he's encouraging me as we're losing.
Yes.
He's laughing about him, too. Are those K-Swiss sneakers with the black socks?
Stan Smith.
Wasn't he 2 for 2 on hooks? Weren't both baskets the same shot? I think they were. It looks awful. And Draymond brought that up, too. He said, I don't think he helps himself with the number 61. He did say that, which is a good line as well. I didn't even know he existed until about 6 weeks ago.
Yes.
I'll be honest with you. I didn't.
He's 28.
His backstory, it is unbelievable.
I thought people were doing a joke when I saw him. Oh, he looks like a lacrosse player. No. He's the LeBron of lacrosse or something. He's like a really good,
he's dominant lacrosse player.
And he has a brother on the Grizzlies, I found out yesterday.
Oh, is that true?
Cam.
I didn't even know that.
Cam, yeah. But I got to forget about him because he's the kind of guy up in Golden State, if he plays, and he'll spark the crowd.
Well, he did a headbutt did he not do a headbutt in the Houston series? I think he did.
I didn't see that.
I thought he did a headbutt in the Houston series and might have gotten thrown out. Maybe I'm hallucinating that. I don't know.
Right.
So tell me this. Did you go into the Lakers series with supreme confidence in a way that you're a little bit more, you went into this series, even before the Steph thing, a lot more unsettled about this matchup?
Yeah, so what I did at the end of the last few weeks of the season, I said, and this kind of might be a silly statement, but I said, I don't want to play the Lakers and I don't want to play the Warriors. I'd rather play OKC. Now, that's the silly part of the statement, but I think we play well against them, and obviously we've beaten Denver 6 times in a row, including the playoffs last year. But then I chilled out on the Lakers. The Laker thing was the league wants them to advance. That was the refereeing part. Then I chilled the week before, and I said, you know what, we're deeper than they are. They're not a complete team. They tried to trade for a center. They backed out of that trade. And then, game 1, I was like, oh, my God, we're so much better. But Lakers weren't ready. They hadn't scrimmaged, all this kind of stuff. Just like we had all these days off, and we laid a complete egg in game 1. Just the shooting was god-awful. But I am, until we start winning against this team, Jimmy Butler, he's a ball player.
Yes.
He does things. When I saw him on our team, he did things where I go, oh, my God, he can penetrate anytime he wants. It's kind of like Julius Randle does it in a much smaller dose, but Jimmy can, when you break down the defense and penetrate, it changes everything. And then he kicks out. He might be the most complete player in this series.
Correct.
I also think they have 2 forces of nature on their team, Draymond and Jimmy, and we have 1. We have Ant.
Mm-hmm.
So until we win tonight, I'm concerned.
I think that's fair. Yeah. I think that's that, and I think we've already seen they're obviously a better defensive team than the Lakers. They're much more together They have a much better plan. On the other hand, I think the Wolves are double-digit favorites tonight, understandably, to a certain extent. To me, it might be as simple as I said earlier, hitting 7 straight threes, just on a hot streak. And then I think that would puncture a lot of the tension. And you just go play again. Let's just go play again the way that we know we can play. But until they do, then that's part of what we're going to hear.
So I think the stat was, and you guys are stat guys, Guardsy will look this up in 2 seconds.
I'll try.
But after the Jimmy trade to the Warriors, I think they were the number one defense in the NBA.
They were, yeah. Kerr has mentioned that a couple times during this series,
and
actually.
I don't know if anyone's going to mention this, but without Steph Curry, they're going to be even better defensively now.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I thought our offense, I just thought we missed shots. And here's the weird thing, just to give you a bigger picture. I like our team. I've liked it the last few years. One of the reasons is we play defense. I want more pure shooters. We're not getting that.
I'm with you there, 100%.
And Dante says he's not a pure shooter. He's
not.
He's a kind of a rhythm shooter, streak shooter. And so I've said to myself, gosh, I don't know why every year we actually play the Celtics so well, because they got Tatum, they got Jaylen Brown. This guy, Derek White, I think is their 4th best player after Drew Holiday, and he shoots the lights out. Mm-hmm. Now you see what they're doing. You know what they shot last night, Boston? They shot 36% for the game.
For the game?
I mean, and we shot 41. Both. I mean, so we can't make predictions. As you were saying earlier with John, we can talk about it, but we don't know what's going to happen. But I've always been concerned. I look at guys and I say, what if we had a DeMar DeRozan, who's automatic from 17 feet. So it concerns me, but I just can't imagine everybody being ice cold again. I hope tonight we get a couple going, keep going to the rim. Missing at the rim in game 1.
It was consistently.
Yeah.
I mean, in Ant's case, I think we've figured that out. I think it's small hands. I think he's got small hands.
Is that true?
Well, yeah, compared to like Jordan or Pippen or some of the other finishers at the basket, he's got small hands.
You know, they asked Phil Jackson one of the differences between Jordan and Kobe.
What's that?
He said the hands.
Did he really?
He said Michael has bigger hands.
There you go. It's the hands.
Yeah.
It's like with quarterbacks, too. We need to get a pause in. Craig Kilborn is on location, Target Center, Skyway. You don't mind, and you love giving, if people come by and just stand in front of the glass, you love giving autographs, correct? You encourage it.
Well, pictures,
the whole bit.
KFAN T-shirts.
That's it. All that.
Those are gone. We gave those away.
Prigioni.
There he is. Yeah.
Ball player.
There it is.
Ball player.
You love him.
I just want to ask you a quick question before you toss to the 10-minute break. Does you were talking to Johnny?
Yes.
Did Finchie walk by?
He did.
And does he look at you guys, or does he look straight ahead?
Too cool for school.
Kind of looks like
he sort of did, but he didn't do there was no big wave or anything. Okay. No, it was almost like
Corliss Williamson always has a nice wave.
He does. He's got a nice wave.
Very friendly guy.
All right.
But I think Finchie, maybe he's either too tense or he's too,
Yeah.
I don't care.
He takes his job seriously.
He does do that for sure.
Yeah.
Let's get one of those 10-minute breaks that really won't be that long, because we have such fine sponsors, right, Garcia?
We do. We're very grateful.
Encourage you to continue to listen to the show for these sponsors as well. Back in a minute.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile with a message for everyone paying big wireless way too much. Please, for the love of everything good in this world, stop. With Mint, you can get premium wireless for just $15 a month. Of course, if you enjoy overpaying, no judgments, but that's weird. Okay, one judgment. Anyway, give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
When it comes to Mother's Day, at Ritual, we believe in giving her flowers. But are flowers what she actually wants? We asked around, and flowers are fine, but most women would prefer science-backed gut support that never wilts. While we're at it, throw in stress relief, our chill pill designed with clinically studied forms of ingredients to reduce daily stress. Did we mention that all of our supplements are clean, vegan, and third-party tested for heavy metals and microbes? Because if you ask us, the thought counts, but traceable science and sourcing count more. Find your ritual. Get what you really want this year, whether you're a mom or not, with 40% off your first month at ritual.com/podcast. That's RITUAL.com/podcast for 40% off your first month. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Hi, I'm Bob Pittman, Chairman and CEO of iHeartMedia. On this week's episode of Math and Magic, I'm sitting down with the one and only Bobby Bones. We're exploring the power of audio.
The word on the street then was he's too country for pop. But then once I got to country, it was he's too pop for country. So I kind of never really had a place to fit in, but that's exactly how and why I fit. I just embraced that. Like, yeah, I don't fit into one specific hole. I think that is what endeared me to listeners. That's why I'm here now, because I talk to people that grew up like me, have sensibilities like me, and have loyalties like me.
Listen to Math and Magic, stories from the frontiers of marketing on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
The Fan.
From the Target Center cage. It's starting to get pretty festive in here now. Now, did you go, I assume, you're a baseball guy too. So I assume you watched the last few innings. The Red Hot Twins just swept the Orioles. There was their 5th straight victory.
Yeah.
Much maligned Twins now approaching 500. What a great opportunity for you to see baseball at a great ballpark on a beautiful day.
Yeah.
And then follow it up with the Wolves.
You know, I used to go to Twins games all the time at Mets.
Did you really?
Yeah, with my dad.
I don't think we talked about that
My
much.
dad is a huge baseball fan.
Right.
He's from New York. His favorite player was Willie Mays. He told me he was the best all-around baseball player.
The Say Hey Kid.
Say Hey Kid.
Yeah.
And
Vic Wertz,
we
shoulder
would sit
catch.
in the left field bleachers. I think,
Is that right?
I think tickets were $6. He'd get a Ham's beer, Frosty, and I get a Frosty malt and the peanuts. And I liked a guy named Cesar Tovar.
Oh, yeah. Very versatile. The guy who played every position.
Exactly.
Yes.
And I think I've told you this before, but there was a game, an exhibition game with the Mets at the end of Willie Mays' career, and he had a home run contest before the game against Harmon Killebrew.
Really?
And I was there. My dad took us up there, and Willie won 6-2 or 6-3. He beat Harmon Killebrew in a home run contest. Home run derby before the game.
Well, I was going to say, did you ever watch the TV show Home Run Derby? Are you familiar with it?
Sure hit the ball far there. Yeah. Mickey sure hit the ball. Yeah. If they did that in 2025, they'd have to probably spice it up a little bit, don't you think? It was very low-key. It was black and white.
Yes, it was.
It was so mellow.
Yes, it was.
Time was slow back then.
Very.
And innocent.
But wasn't it kind of, in a way, more peaceful, too? And kind of calming? And
I mean, if you heard back in the 20s what Babe Ruth used to do, he would be in so much trouble.
Yeah, that's true,
in the
too.
Hotel rooms, what he was doing.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, that's what they say. All right, so where else do we want to go on this? So do you have any serious trepidation about the Wolves' ability? They're double-digit favorites tonight.
I know.
Most people, I texted Sam Mitchell after the first game, and he said, calm down. They just had a bad game. They're going to win it in 5. Now, I don't know if he, at that point, was including that's with Steph out or whatever. Are you as confident as Sam Mitchell?
No, because 5 means 4 straight.
Exactly.
And I didn't think, as well as Houston was playing, I didn't think they were going to win 3 straight. And they didn't. They won 2 straight, and then they lost game 7. But I'm going to remain confident because I like our team. I believe in our team. I kind of flush the first game down and say that's ridiculous. But I just keep repeating, I do have a lot of respect for Steve Kerr and Jimmy Butler and Draymond. They know what they're doing. And it throws me off that they are the best defensive team, or they were statistically. Now, I'd have to look at their schedule, who they played then to have that. Maybe there's some weak teams in there. But we got to bring our A game all the time, and we don't always do that. But let's just see how it goes tonight.
Yeah, I think that's fair. You gotta just take Buddy Hield out of this. That's just don't let him do anything. And the assumption is with Curry out, you're going to see Jaden move over to guarding him. And don't cheat off of them.
Yeah.
It's
what drives me up the wall when these guys that are inconsistent.
Yes.
And this is not the Kareem Rush game. He was the guy that got red hot in Game 6 against the Wolves and the Lakers back in the day in 2004. But Buddy Hield could be key, the series. And is it Podziemski? Is that his name?
Podzensky? I can't remember how. I think it's Podzensky.
Yeah, it's a weird pronunciation. Yeah. Doesn't look like it's
should. Call him Pod.
Yeah. I love looking at guards to see if he
if I'm paying attention.
To see if you'll know.
Yeah.
Like we look, hey, how's that pronounced?
I know.
Podziemski.
I'm the authority.
Enough, yeah.
But no, he's a shooter too.
He is.
So they have shooters.
Yeah, they do.
So I guess I'm saying I really respect the Warriors, but we better win by double digits tonight.
That's fair. Yeah. You're not a betting man, though. You've never been a big bettor, have you? Do you do
I
many?
bet in the 90. This is what I did. I went only in Vegas, and I did it like 3 times.
Okay.
And I would only do it when
it was like a Charles Barkley sized bet.
No,
nothing that
big.
It
was nothing. It was. I don't remember what it was. Maybe $100. Maybe it was $50. But it was at the sports book in Vegas. Yeah. And this is what I would do when I thought the Bulls of the 90s. I thought these teams were a little overrated. The media built them up.
Yeah.
And so if they're playing at San Antonio and they're favored by 14 or 16, I'm saying they're going to win, but they're not going to win by 8.
Right.
So I would do it with a really good team on the road favored by too much. Like, do you think the Wolves are going to win by 10 tonight? They're favored by 10.5, right? I think they will, but I'll take a 9-point win. So that's why I don't gamble. I don't bet.
It's not healthy. I don't think.
It's not.
Well, this is.
Well, that's an understatement. Yeah. It's not. Well, Art Schleister. Is that how it's pronounced, guys?
All right. You got it. They got that one right. Schleister. Yeah, that's it. Remember? Is he still in the Hoosgow? Is he still in prison?
I don't know.
He was in for a while, was he not?
I just like naming guys because Dan's going to know all these. I said Clyde Lavelle at hookshot, and that's way before everyone's signed.
Oh, that's true, but I can.
Tommy Heinsohn had hookshot.
You were skirting the edge with Tom Selleck's nephew.
Oh, yeah.
Like that's like I got
that's
that.
True. Yeah,
I'm not sure under 42 got that.
Who's a mustache?
You can't worry about that though.
Who's a mustache actor that we could have used instead?
Oh, that's more current.
Yeah,
that's the problem. We don't know that.
I don't think they're mustaches aren't in anymore, are they?
Yeah, they're in. Ironically, I think. Sometimes.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not like
one
Selleck.
Of those Hemsworth guys mustache. Does he have a mustache?
Chris or Liam?
One of them.
They might.
I don't know.
One of the just name.
One of the Hemsworths.
He's an actor. My brothers. I don't know.
Hey, give me an update, by the way, on last time we talked about this. I don't think you watch much late night TV.
Correct.
So, do you not watch any late night TV? Do you watch it enough to go, here's what I like about it, here's what I really don't like, what I don't like it? I mean, what if somebody for the New York Times media critic says, I'm going to a few different people from different periods to just evaluate the current state of late night television, what would you say about it?
Well, the one thing is there are categories where Bill Maher and Jon Stewart are political late night hosts, and then I call the other category traditional hosts.
Right.
Johnny Carson, Dave Letterman, and Kilborn, I think, is how the 3 people, that's how people talk about late
Maybe
night.
Leno in there somewhere. Yeah.
Sorry.
In that order?
That was a loud laugh.
In that order?
Your face. It was very funny.
So anywho, but
it's always how he sells it.
But the problem is now the traditional hosts are, they're all doing politics.
Pretty much, yeah. Most of the time. Yeah.
And I remember, I see clips sometimes. I'm not necessarily, I'm a glorious independent. I'm above the fray. I'm apolitical. I say I like Barack Obama. I also like the temperament of Mitt Romney, But I saw Colbert.
Except for when he strapped that dog up to the top of the car.
Oh,
I don't even know if that story was ever proven, but remember that? There were actually people who wouldn't vote for him on the basis of whatever allegedly happened with that damn dog.
Times have changed.
Yeah, they have.
By the way,
a little bit.
I was going to tell a different story, but I'll just tell you. Last night at David Fema's creative, what was it?
That's not the way you usually say his name. Say his name the way you usually do.
Chef Fema?
David Fema?
Fema?
Yeah.
Mason Margot.
Mason Margot.
There you go.
Yeah.
And we had an all-star table there, and Chef Fema was great. But someone said to me, hey, the mayor of Minneapolis is over there. And so I got a picture with him, and I chatted. But I had already had a little bit to drink, but not, I was fine. But I do this all the time because I'm independent, and when I worked in television, 99%.
That got you in trouble.
99% of the people are liberal.
Yes.
Okay. And I like moderate liberals, and I see a difference with the far left. And there are people that say the far left, that's how Trump got elected, because of the far left.
Yeah.
You can, sure, you've talked about that on your show because you talk politics. Hey, buddy. And so I said to the guy, I said to the mayor, I said, nice to meet you. And I assumed he's a Democrat because
That's Minneapolis.
Yeah,
yes, you can safely assume that.
Because I follow
Mr. Kilborn.
national politics in California. I don't follow Minnesota politics. But I just said, I got to ask you a question because I do this with all my comedy writer friends in Hollywood. I say, how many times have you seen Gary Oldman in The Darkest Hour? Because it's the Churchill. And I'm a Churchill fan. My dad taught me about Churchill.
Yes.
Greatest leader of the 20th century. And he goes, oh, no, I respect Churchill. I love whatever. But that's me walking around having a martini, just saying, what do you think of Churchill?
So that just came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Did he look at you rather oddly?
I bet he was flummoxed.
I think he had to be.
Yeah.
So is there a limit? Because John said it twice, flummoxed, and then you guys, how many times you can say it?
Flummoxed is a good word.
Yeah.
Gobsmacked is another good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did I tell you? I got to tell you this. This is so funny. Do you know when we lost the 24-point lead at Milwaukee this year at the end of the season, and after the game, John Krasinski says to Coach, is that kind of a microcosm of the season?
Oh,
where
yeah.
you get ahead, don't concentrate, and lose it. And Finchy did not like that.
No, he did not.
He said, John, we had a bad fourth quarter against his own defense. So when I was telling Dan off air that John, when they were out for the Lakers series, I took Johnny Athletic to Rayo's Hollywood and had dinner with him, and I sat him down and I said, I just want to, first thing is I'm going to teach you how to use the word microcosm. So I'm giving him
tips,
crap about that.
Right.
And he loved that. And then I told him on my podcast, The Life Gorgeous, which I had Johnny on this week on YouTube and iHeart and all those places. I said to him, I had a joke for you, and I forgot to tell you when they eliminated the Lakers after the game, say, Coach, is this a microcosm of the season where you guys, when you have to win, you win? And he goes, I'm going to put that in my back pocket. One more little anecdote with this. A friend of mine from Turner Sports, Albert Scooter Vertino, who I worked with at ESPN, he's a top guy there, texted me, and he said, he listened to my podcast this week. I said, I'm going to order some smash burgers from Omaha Steaks because that was the sponsor. And then I said, I loathe Jimmy Butler and Draymond. My parents said I can't use the word hate. And he said, well, that's a microcosm of your upbringing.
It is.
So we're having a little fun.
Loathe does sound a little less.
Yeah.
It sounds
softer.
a little. It does soften it up just enough.
Because they said, my parents said, don't say shut up and don't say hate.
Yeah. That's a good start.
Yeah.
It served you well, one could say, over the years, over the decades. Let's get one more break in, shall we? And you can stay as long as you want. It's up to you. I know you had probably more dinner
I can't wait to go. We're going to have dinner at the Lexus Club. What time do you guys get off the air today?
I think today at 6:30.
Oh, 6:30. Wow.
Yeah, we're actually going the distance today.
Yeah, I might go at 6.
But we'll
That's good.
I've got a few other things that we can try to address.
Is that fine?
That's great. We'd love to have you until 6.
Including some TNT stuff. So a little bit more with Craig Kilborn. Is he our last guest today? We don't have any others.
Scheduled,
We had Johnny. We had Alan Horton.
Yep.
I think that's going to be it for today as we prepare for Game 2, Western Conference semifinals. We'll all agree, gentlemen, a must-win for your favorite basketball team, right? They have to win tonight.
They have to.
They have to win tonight. Back in a
When it comes to Mother's Day, at Ritual, we believe in giving her flowers. But are flowers what she actually wants? We asked around, and flowers are fine, but most women would prefer science-backed gut support that never wilts. While we're at it, throw in Stress Relief, our chill pill designed with clinically studied forms of ingredients to reduce daily stress. Did we mention that all of our supplements are clean, vegan, and third-party tested for heavy metals and microbes? Because if you ask us, the thought counts, but traceable science and sourcing count more. Find your ritual. Get what you really want this year, whether you're a mom or not, with 40% off your first month at ritual.com/podcast. That's RITUAL.com/podcast for 40% off your first month. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Hi, I'm Bob Pittman, Chairman and CEO of iHeartMedia. On this week's episode of Math and Magic, I'm sitting down with the one and only Bobby Bones. We're exploring the power of audio.
The word on the street then was he's too country for pop. But then once I got to country, it was he's too pop for country. So I kind of never really had a place to fit in, but that's exactly how and why I fit. I just embraced that. Like, yeah, I don't fit into one specific hole. I think that is what endeared me to listeners. That's why I'm here now, because I talk to people that grew up like me, have sensibilities like me, and have loyalties like me.
Listen to Math and Magic, stories from the frontiers of marketing on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Is there any bad blood, Craig Kilborn, between you and McMenamin, or is it all good? It's all good?
Nice guy.
Other than his odd peculiar fascination with the Tim Duncan versus Kobe Bryant discussion,
Actually,
which that was a year ago, right?
Yeah, it came up, and you were good. I didn't tell you, or maybe I did. I can't remember, but had dinner out there with Dave, and Wolves' assistant, Mike Honori, brought it up to him, the comparison. Mm-hmm. And he just went on and on about how great Tim Duncan was. So,
which annoyed McMenamin further.
But last night he finally won one of these battles. He's still way behind,
of course,
because ESPN has it where Duncan is better than Kobe Bryant, and I think the reason he did it was he knows that LeBron is better than Kobe, but there are people in LA who like Kobe more than LeBron. There are fans that actually think Kobe's better because he has that killer instinct.
Well, he is more of a killer, I would say.
Yes, but he doesn't pass like LeBron. He's not as good as
no.
But Eli Fema, the son of David Fema, is a big Kobe fan.
Really?
And he came by last night, and Dave McMenamin asked him, and he goes, Kobe's better than Tim Duncan. So good for you, Dave. You found somebody.
I found somebody. Yeah, there's not. I don't think there's many.
Yeah,
I would think. Where were we? Go
ahead.
Before we get to more basketball,
yes, sir.
let's close the circle a little bit on the late night thing.
Yes, sir.
So, do you believe? Well, it's always interesting because I think you're right. I think you and I have talked about that before. The hosts in these shows can be whatever they want. You know, obviously it's a free country, but has the direction they've gone in? Is there any evidence to suggest that is what most people want, or is it they've just determined that's the way they feel like they're obligated to go for whatever reason because of the political times and want to go? In other words, if somebody else came in and said, I'm going to do more of a Carson kind of a show. I'm not going to be as good as Carson because you can't be, but right. I'm going to do more of, I'm not going to really mess that much with that. I'm going to entertain. We might have some politicians on, but we're also going to have actors, and we're going to have Topo Gigio, whatever the case may be. So, I mean, would it work? I mean, do we know why they've gone the direction, the networks have gone the direction they have? Because you have all kinds of sources.
And so, Topo Gigio, or he played clap.
Yes,
somebody would do an impression of him. So I don't know if Jimmy Fallon does too much politics. I don't watch enough to know. He doesn't seem. Colbert and Kimmel do a lot of politics.
Yeah, that's true. Probably less so.
And my thing is, I don't want to get my politics from a comedian. However, when it's a guy like Bill Maher,
yeah, well, that's very different,
who is 100% committed to it, then I will. I watch his show, and I know you watch his show.
Religiously,
his guests are tremendous. Mm-hmm. He does have.
He mixes it up.
Even though he's profane and rude, people say he very level-headed, because I use the term pragmatic. I sometimes say there's a wonderful compassion on the left and there's a pragmatism on the right, and I straddle it infinitely better than Pat Kessler, and I'm kidding. But anyway,
that's another story.
But I don't. Do you care what these guys say? I mean, do you respect their views, or you just think I'm talking about?
Well, I think we talked about this before. I would respect their views more if I felt like they were equal opportunity. Mm-hmm. You know, I might be able to listen to that more if the game is tweaking and satirizing, which I get late night potentially can be that.
Right.
Then just don't be afraid, even if it's the constituency that so well, here's what I'm supposed to agree with on this particular issue. That's my problem. Surprise me, and they don't surprise me very, very much. Also, I want to get back. You mentioned Big Shot TNT guy. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So, have you ever discussed with him? Have you ever confronted him on the editorial decision that that network made regarding using Draymond Green too much during the playoffs last season, when he had clearly this Rudy Gobert obsession, a show that doesn't need him, right? A show that has won multiple, I think, like 25 Emmys. They don't need, that crew doesn't need Draymond Green. Did you ever ask him why they felt compelled to include him in that whole deal?
Yes, I did, and I'm trying to look.
He's scrolling.
He's scrolling.
He's scrolling. He's got the receipts.
Well, I'm looking to see. He gave probably a
political answer.
Yeah. And I don't think it was necessarily his decision, but you know, I find it very irritating. You know what the Wolves did last year? They refused to be interviewed by them.
Correct. Postgame.
I can't find it, Dan, but I did say, just because I don't like to bother him, I basically said, just for the record, I think it's ridiculous, and a lot of us do, that he's on, that you guys are giving him this voice. Anyways.
Well, I dare say give it to any active player's voice, because you run the risk of, you got grievances, you're competing for the same awards, and that's part of it. That's a lot of it with Draymond and Rudy, is he thinks he should have more Defensive Player of the Year awards and Rudy should have less. And I'm saying you're asking for trouble when you put current players on those sorts of panels.
Yeah.
When it can get extremely personal. I kidded. I mentioned to Guardsy, the Barkley. As much as I love Charles Barkley, whenever the Wolves are struggling or whenever they're losing, his criticism is always the same. Literally, no matter what game he has just seen, how different the details might be, what does he say? They can't play Rudy in this series. It's every, that's his fallback position, explaining every Wolves weakness. Can't play Rudy. They got to take him off the court.
To be fair to Charles, he lost his other one, which was Carl shoots too many threes.
He
lost that one from a year ago.
And Shaq used to love that too.
They both loved that one.
Get in the post.
Gotta
what are you
post
doing
up.
taking
Why
3
are they
points?
so simplistic? Because don't they know he's the top 3-point shooter on the team?
Exactly.
Usually.
He was the only guy that could shoot.
He was the only guy who could. Yeah, right.
I mean, it makes no sense because they think it is simplistic where a big man goes down low. Did they hate Dirk Nowitzki then? I mean, that was his whole game.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't know what that is, but nevertheless. And you don't hate Cat as much. You never hated Cat as much as some people here did.
No, I have a problem. I say it's a reflection of them more than it is Cat. I know Cat has idiosyncrasies. Mm-hmm. I'm the big Cat supporter. I say it's Guardsy, Johnny Athletic, and myself. And I think you appreciate that.
Yes.
And you've said accurately on Twitter, X, give him the ball, Knicks. Run a play. They don't give it's on Tibbs and Jalen Brunson. They don't give him the ball enough. He's a scoring machine. Now, he will do irritating things.
There's no question.
He will hook people when he drives. He'll force drives. And the thing that bothers me the most, he's
gotten better with refs, though.
Yeah, some of the fouls, I feel bad for him. Like a third foul the other night where he's bodying up a guy. If Draymond was bodying him up, he wouldn't get called for the foul. But maybe Cat, the stray voltage, he looks awkward, so they give him a foul. But here's the one he does that is really irritating. He's guarding a guy at the top of the key, and he just starts slapping at the ball on the wrist like he's playing defense, and he gets a cheap foul.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Yeah, and often more than one.
I wish the people could have seen me slap it.
Yeah, they might have heard it.
Very
that was,
authentic.
It was pretty authoritative.
That's very true, Davey. Yeah, he. We know what he couldn't do, but you look. I mean, we also know that he is an extremely effective offensive player. Right, I mean, stuff can be taken away from him from time to time, but he's starting with his three-point shooting.
The backing down, posting up, the soft jump hook. He has a left hand, a feathery shot. He is so much fun to watch, and I sometimes have to turn the Knicks games off because they don't give him the ball.
No, it's uncanny how many minutes will go, and the problem is when after the game people look and go, well, how could Cat disappear in the fourth quarter like that? It's like, well, if he literally can't take a shot or even get the ball once or twice, it's pretty difficult if you're not the guy who's bringing the ball up the court, right?
Yeah.
Which Brunson is, to actually be involved in the offense.
And then sometimes I've seen where he hasn't gotten a shot. He was 4 for 8 in this one game, and then he gets it late and forces a shot because he's not in rhythm. I wanted to say something. So we traded him, and I always said because people were like, we got to trade Cat, and it was mainly for money, I believe, but I said, I'll always listen. And then when we did the trade, I said, okay, if in fact Dante plays well and Randall plays well. I like the trade.
Yeah.
I can live with, and I think the Knicks. I think both teams won the trade. I think the Knicks really like what Cat has done. Now after the Lakers series, I said, "Oh, I love the trade because of how well Julius Randle
No question.
was
He
playing.
played great against the Lakers.
Yes.
Now Dante, I'm a little worried about Dante. I don't think he's looked very good recently.
He
at
hasn't.
all.
He does other things.
Yeah.
He plays
You're right. He
aggressive
can. Yeah.
defense. He passes well, although he'll throw the turnovers. But man, he's due, man. He's due to light it up.
So what is the off away from basketball? Basically, this is my Craig Kilborn Enterprises question. So what do we do? We still got the podcast.
Yeah.
Are you going to be able to give us any more information than last time we were on regarding this ESPN project?
Not yet.
Well, what are we waiting for?
Well, they haven't announced it yet.
Well, so what?
And I have to record next
No one's
week.
listening to us.
Did you print the script out? You said you were going to get the script printed out this week.
I didn't have time to print it out, but I looked at it on my phone.
The word will never get back to him.
And it's pretty exciting though. I'm going to enjoy it. It's for next week. I'm going to record it all next week. But I have to do 4 or 5 media
at a time?
outlets. Media outlets.
Okay. To promote it.
I'd like to come back and promote it. I won't be in person. It'll be in
fine.
the summer. You'll be up at the lake. But no, it's exciting. And then of course, whenever I do your show, Dan, the number one show in America,
easily
the number one local show in America, something to that effect. I don't know what Guardsy always sends me the notes, and I don't look at them. But
it's not worth it.
I tell people I have my iconic Instagram, Mr. Craig Kilborn, and then all the Minnesota people start following.
Yeah, they follow you.
It's just boom, 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 boom. So I have the podcast, and I have the Instagram, the iconic Instagram, Mr. Craig Kilborn. And I show pictures of me at Mason Margot and sitting in courtside with the Wolves. And we better win tonight.
How many ex-burner accounts do you have? Because I know you're on it, but you have like fake. You have to join X now to read the great quips from Johnny Athletic and Dan Barreiro. We didn't need Jimmy Butler. Those kinds of things. Those kind of pithy analyses.
Right. Yeah. But some of them are very clever. Some of them are very clever.
Yeah.
Because you're a gifted writer, and you'd like to turn a phrase, and we all grew up reading Sports Illustrated.
How couldn't we?
I've told you this before, but I love repeating it. In the 70s, I would read Sports Illustrated from cover to cover, and there was this guy named Alistair Cook. And he was a British guy, and he had a show, and he was a journalist, and he said, I hear the best writers in America write for Sports Illustrated. And I was so proud because it was Curry Kirkpatrick, and it was Frank DeFord, and all these guys. And
Rick Riley eventually, that was later. Yeah.
Halberstam.
Yeah.
And I remember this joke from Curry Kirkpatrick. He was, what's up with Sonny Crockett? I was doing the stubble, no socks with loafers 10 years earlier.
He was. I know that because he was around IU basketball when they were good in the late 70s, and Curry was the guy that Knight hated.
Oh.
And he had a very unique sartorial style,
right.
you could say. Yes.
And those writers helped me get excited about turning a phrase.
Yes, absolutely.
And being poetic.
They were very good at it.
The ant colony. That kind of stuff.
Well, it hasn't. We both like that one, but it hasn't stuck. We
need him to play better.
We haven't gotten
It's not
anywhere.
our fault.
Yeah, you think the Colony's got to play better?
Well, yeah, it's really
played okay against the Lakers.
It's Nas right now.
There's the ref. That's the ref right there.
Yeah, there's Mr. Brothers.
Tony,
look at that.
There's the other guys right there.
There they are.
I didn't know they own suits.
I did not. They look. I wonder. Are there like dress code rules for the rest? Do you have to wear suits?
Probably. Yeah, you probably have to look presentable when you come into the arena.
I saw one of them walking out of Showgirls last night.
That's not illegal. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. One of your favorite spots back in the day, if I'm not mistaken. Or were you more of a Deja Vu guy?
I honestly, I just came up with that name. Is there one called Showgirls?
Well, there used to be for sure. Okay. Is there still?
I don't know.
Oh, come on.
No, I don't think. Was there ever a Showgirls?
There was a Showgirls, I think.
I thought that was just a movie in the 90s with Jessica Berkley.
I thought there was a Showgirls on Hennepin. Was there not?
Wait a second.
There's Augie's.
If Guardsy doesn't know, nobody knows. Well, it's not Jessica Berkley.
Elizabeth Berkley. Elizabeth Berkley. Pat Spencer.
Yeah, that's
Pat Spencer. Well, because she was Jessie in Saved by the Bell. That's why I got confused.
Okay.
That's why I got confused.
So
you had her on the Late Late Show, right?
Oh yeah, she was
Elizabeth Berkley.
So what is your like? Are you a binge like Netflix watch? What do you watch at night?
Great question. So I watch either a series like you and I are fond of Bosch, which is now over.
Well, I'm
Bosch.
way behind. I haven't seen the last 3 years.
Oh, wow.
That's how far behind I am.
It is great. I've watched the entire series 3 times through.
Seriously?
I have a little more free time than you.
Yeah, well, that's true. But the first few years of that are unbelievable.
I also will sprinkle in movies. And there are movies that I haven't seen that I will.
You want to catch up on?
Yeah, like my brother likes this one movie, and I tried to watch it. My dad didn't really like it either, but I finally watched and enjoyed the Sinatra Manchurian Candidate.
Oh, I love that movie.
Yeah,
they did.
good.
So you said your dad didn't like it?
He didn't like it as much as my brother did. Yeah,
I loved it. Now, did you ever see the remake?
I haven't seen it
the
yet.
Denzel remake. I've not seen it.
Yeah,
the original I loved.
I'll tell you another one that I tried to watch a few years ago, and I said it was too slow. I want to see if you've seen this one. Artsy, Coppola, Gene Hackman, San Francisco, The Conversation.
I saw it in a theater.
Oh,
I saw it when it first came out.
Yeah.
And it is. I mean, you got to kind of be in the right mood.
Correct.
For that, correct. It's not.
It's like Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. Really slow. Gary Oldman. You got to be in the mood for it.
But then the sort of it builds to a fascinating finish. I think it's fair to say.
Yes. Robert Duvall's in it. We won't give it away. Harrison Ford's in it as well.
I forgot that he is in the Conversation.
Yes.
I don't remember.
Young Harrison Ford.
Right.
Can I just give you like 5 movies that are the ones that I watch over and over again? So my top 5 are all rated over 8 on IMDb. A lot of Hitchcock and Sunset Boulevard and Chinatown. But the ones I watch over and over are kind of rated at 7s, low 7s. In the Line of Fire, Clint and John Malkovich. Watch it over and over again.
Like that film.
The Fugitive.
The first DVD, not 401k DVD, but high def DVD was In the Line of Fire. I still remember first one.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's a great. I love Clint. I like that. The Fugitive is a great one to rewatch.
Terrific.
I do like, and this is a little newer, last I don't know how many years, but Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. Daniel Craig. I enjoy that.
Which version?
Oh, I've seen both, but now because I'm lazy, I watch the Daniel Craig.
Yeah, I'm with you on that too. That is very good too.
This is one that's really good, and whenever I say it to people, it's from the 70s. Robert Redford, 3 Days of the Condor.
Oh, underrated.
Yes,
big time.
Really good.
And who is the romantic interest in that film?
The great Faye Dunaway.
Faye Dunaway.
Also in the movie Thomas Crown Affair. Also in Bonnie and Clyde. And, of course, Chinatown. Faye Dunaway. Guardsy, play along. You ever heard of any of these?
I'm just listening.
Have you ever? I mean, the one of the greatest lines in that film, if you'll recall, and I'm sure you will, is when he's demanding certain things of her, like she has to help. She basically has to help him in his spycraft, challenges, and she looks at him very wide-eyed and says, "Have I ever denied you anything?"
Exactly.
And this, of course, is after what had already gone on in the apartment.
Do you remember the end when in front of the New York Times and Cliff Robinson goes, "Oh, you dummy, you son of a bitch! You didn't give it to him.
Yeah.
You don't know what you did."
How
do you know they're going to print it?
You dumb SOB.
Yeah.
You got no idea what you've done. Yeah.
Are we allowed to say that?
Well, it's
enough.
Fine. I think I wouldn't do it as on a regular diet of it, but I think that's fine. All right, you can go. You got dinner. You're going to get dinner at the Lexus Club.
Yeah.
Do you know what's on the menu tonight?
No, but they always have a red meat, a steak, and I never get it. I eschew it. I usually get seafood.
That's another good word.
Yeah, I think I might partake in the steak today.
Seriously?
Yeah,
What's that about? You're in a red meat mood.
Yeah, I had a little cocktail last night, and I just need a little red meat to get that foundation in case Jimmy Buckets runs into me on the court side, and I just flail my hands accidentally into his face.
A la the famous not Larry Sanders.
Larry David, Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Tripping Shaquille O'Neal, which was a terrific episode.
What about Kevin McHale and Cheers hurting his ankle?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
That's right.
Yeah. By the way, real quick, have you watched the Celtics?
I haven't watched it yet.
I've seen 3 parts. It's well done. Yeah, I haven't seen all of it.
I just know. I don't think
you got to care about the Celtics a little bit.
Well, I do. We all love Bill Walton, and and he had a quote I heard the last few years before he tragically passed. The great guy. What a wonder, and you know him really well. But He said if you didn't play for the Celtics, you really didn't play in the NBA.
He did say that.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's awesome.
Well, I think he loved getting people going, too.
Yeah.
Enjoy game 2.
Thank you, sir.
Good to see you, as always.
Thank you, Guardsy.
We'll see you downstairs.
Great to see you, Craig.
Craig Kilborn helping us out as only he can do. A break. We got a half hour yet to go. Back in a minute.
When it comes to Mother's Day, at Ritual, we believe in giving her flowers. But are flowers what she actually wants? We asked around, and flowers are fine, but most women would prefer science-backed gut support that never wilts. While we're at it, throw in Stress Relief, our chill pill designed with clinically studied forms of ingredients to reduce daily stress. Did we mention that all of our supplements are clean, vegan, and third-party tested for heavy metals and microbes? Because if you ask us, the thought counts, but traceable science and sourcing count more. Find your ritual. Get what you really want this year, whether you're a mom or not, with 40% off your first month at ritual.com/podcast. That's RITUAL.com/podcast for 40% off your first month. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Hi, I'm Bob Pittman, Chairman and CEO of iHeartMedia. On this week's episode of Math and Magic, I'm sitting down with the one and only Bobby Bones. We're exploring the power of audio.
The word on the street then was he's too country for pop. But then once I got to country, it was he's too pop for country. So I kind of never really had a place to fit in, but that's exactly how and why I fit. I just embraced that. Like, yeah, I don't fit into one specific hole. I think that is what endeared me to listeners. That's why I'm here now, because I talk to people that grew up like me, have sensibilities like me, and have loyalties like me.
Listen to Math and Magic, stories from the frontiers of marketing on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Well, this isn't particularly welcoming news as we see folks continue to head into Target Center. The gates have been opened, doors have been opened. Should be a festive crowd tonight. Should be a, I'm thinking, motivated crowd tonight. Maybe a bit nervous early, depending on how things go. The question is whether it will, whether the crowd will leave hungry tonight.
Oh, boy.
In the wake of a Carol Evans story.
Not great timing.
No, it's not really good timing. This is written by Brian Lundeen. Here's the headline. Rodent droppings, mold, and hand washing. Dozens of food safety violations found in Target Center stands. And according to this story, there was an inspection in February in which it was revealed. This is via the city of Minneapolis. The city of Minneapolis conducted a food safety inspection of Target Center on Feb 5, and according to this story, the study uncovered a lengthy list of violations. Dozens of issues were documented throughout the arena's concession stands and food prep areas, ranging from the physical condition of the facilities to protecting food from contamination. Here's the quote from Amy Johnston, a food safety educator with the University of Minnesota, who apparently reviewed the city's inspection report.
Yep.
So this is just a person bouncing off of the report itself.
Okay.
I see trends in risky food safety behaviors, meaning not isolated to one service area and not isolated to 1 year routine inspection, end quote. Among the more concerning discoveries, 4 concession locations cited after the inspector found mouse droppings on the floors along the walls, indicating the presence of rodents in food areas. Multiple locations also cited for the presence of biofilm or mold in ice machines. And a soda gun holder, according to inspection records obtained from the city. Proper hand washing and access to hand washing sinks were also a common theme that resulted in several citations throughout the area. Several concession locations cited for hand washing sinks that were either physically obstructed, missing signage, not stocked with soap, or being used for other purposes such as storage or dumping ice. Inspector noted that a bar location didn't have hand washing sink available, despite employees handling cocktails and garnishes. One employee at a pizza location was observed going directly from washing dishes to handling food without having washed their own hands. Even premium locations within the arena.
Can you just skip to the Lexus Club where I was 2 nights ago?
I'm getting
building
there.
up. Okay.
It's the next sentence. The Lexus Courtside Club and the Chairman's Club were both dinged for a lack of sneeze guards around self-serve food items.
That's true.
They were also cited for lack of proper time and temperature controls in place for foods that are required to be kept hot or cold. Kitchen used to service the suites was cited for holding pork sliders at a temperature of 128 degrees. And as you well know, and everybody does, anybody, whoever eats pork sliders knows, you've got to have the required 135-degree minimum needed to prevent what? The growth of pathogens.
Let's go, Wolves.
Some violations, for the record, were corrected on site with the inspector present, but most were noted as needing follow-up.
So this is Feb 12. You'd like to think they locked it in for the stretch run here.
Well, you'd hope so. Target Center works with Levy Restaurants to provide, or is it Levy? Food service throughout the arena and provided the following statement on the city's findings. Here's their quote. Food safety and sanitation are top priorities for our company.
I'd hope so.
We work closely with Minneapolis Health Department third-party experts to ensure Target Center is best in class. During that February health inspection, all food outlets were audited, and Target Center received an overall rating of 98.5 out of 100. With perfection as our goal, we proactively invited the health department back in March to demonstrate that all issues identified were successfully addressed, and we are committed to serving fans with the highest quality food and beverage experience. So we need, I would say it's fair to say, we need follow-up reporting on this.
Yeah.
Whether, so are we getting the number of citations would seem to indicate fairly widespread problem. Does that jive with you're getting an overall score of 98.5 out of 100? See, it would seem like something is amiss there, one way or the other.
Right, something's not right.
Which is why I'd like to see some more reporting being done on this story, a little bit more follow-up, a little more nuance, a little better understanding, and even to the point where, like you said, that was February, and we're now in early May, and, so how many of these things can we know have been properly addressed?
Which one of those kitchens was the food prepared that Luka ate during the Lakers series that got him sick when he got to Minneapolis?
Yeah, you're right.
Could that be part of it as well?
That could be part of it. Yeah, you can't rule that out.
The no sneeze guards at the Lexus Club. That's interesting.
So you sound like you're confirming that because you live there now.
I don't. I've only been there once recently. I'm trying to think when I grabbed my post-game pizza with Craigers if I had to navigate a sneeze guard or not. I'm not exactly sure. AE1s, Munich-y, gotta love it.
You have to, that's it.
So I don't remember the sneeze guards or not. Because sometimes it's harder to get to food if there's sneeze guards there. You got to kind of navigate.
It can be kind of unwilly, and difficult.
So what are you giving up? Yeah. What are you giving up there?
You're willing to accept that somebody might have sneezed in your what would it be there? What in that area? What kind of food would it be? Salad?
Well, it was pizza? that I had. That was post game. I didn't really have any of the pregame stuff because I came in hot.
An inspection is a snapshot of a brief period of a food establishment. It only captures the actions of the staff that are there at that time. So we don't know if all staff did not understand or follow safe food handling practices, or it is isolated to a few individuals.
New arena could clear all this up, by the way. Get enough kitchens, get enough sneeze guards,
maybe this is
get enough sinks.
You think this might be part of the
if you've got mold and stuff, and rats are getting through.
Well, they didn't say rats. They said mouse droppings.
Okay, yeah.
Well, no, I guess they said rodent droppings. A rat is a rodent.
It could be. Yeah. Squirrels.
Is there I think for most people there's a significant difference between a rat and a mouse. I don't know if there should be, but there's a feeling like there's rats running around.
I don't think there should be.
Mice.
I don't think there should be at all.
Think they're all bad?
No, I think they're all bad. Rodents of any kind I think are bad. You don't want that.
The droppings were on the floor. Does that make you feel any better?
Depends on it just depends. Yeah. I have a lot of questions.
Like they said it was in the food
on
or
the bar
sink or on the bar. It's on the floor. It happens.
It does.
Come on, man.
Especially urban area. Lot going on
it's
downtown.
A big building.
Yeah.
Although you'd like to think pest control would be a significant part of their goal.
How about the shock jocks, though? This happens on February 12th, and they wait for Game 2. The season's on the line.
You sound like
Sid Hartman.
No, better than that. The governor at the time, Jesse Ventura, who was bitter about the Pioneer Press report regarding academic fraud. Oh, you guys waited to the day of the first tournament game. Funny.
It's not a coincidence.
Yeah. Well,
I'm with Jesse. Our season's on the line. We're trying to figure out Jimmy Butler, and now no one's going to want to eat tonight.
Here's the problem. I mean, if the report's true, it's you can't fight it. You can't argue. You still have to contest it. Otherwise, you're still going to get ripped. I mean, they're in the business, like everybody, like newspapers, whatever, is to maximize impact.
That's true,
right?
Yeah, that's true.
So are you alleging that Care 11 embargoed this report? They could have run it.
Yes.
At the end of the regular season or even earlier.
They could have run it
at the
All-Star break.
Hey, let's do this. Let's wait for them to be down 1-0 in the second round series against the Warriors.
When everybody's already stressed.
Yes.
And now anybody, because fans are talking about that as they walk in tonight. Doors are open now.
Well, they are now.
I've gotten multiple texts from people saying, what are you going to eat tonight? Because the report now is circulating. What are you going to eat tonight?
Is popcorn. All I was going to have tonight is all I usually get is popcorn. So is that safe?
I don't know.
Because or might there be rodent droppings in the where they make the popcorn?
I bet there could be.
I
bet there could be.
Well, what are you going to do? How are you going to adjust?
I'm not sure.
You're going to eat.
I got to think about it. Yeah, I'm not going to let Care 11. I'm not going to let Care 11 ruin my time. All right, I'm not going to let their shock jock clickbait story from something that happened February 12th. Was Jimmy Butler even on the Warriors in February 12th? That's how long ago this was. I'm fine.
I think he was.
I think now I'm going to spend more money buying food than I originally would have.
So you're going to protest you're going to basically say
what they say about the pork sliders. I'm going to go find the pork sliders wherever those are.
Doubling down.
125, 130. I don't care.
Yeah. So what would be the hashtag on this if you're standing?
I stand with Levy. I stand with Levy. Yeah, Levy strong. Levy food. For FEMA.
Oh, that's so
for FEMA.
FEMA?
For celebrity chef David. FEMA.
Yeah, that's not at all surprised me. All right, let's get one last pause in. We'll come back and offer some final thoughts on Game 2 tonight, what we're going to be looking for. Well, we heard from some very good cavalcade of guests on our location, too, regarding Game 2, and there is, I think, a theme to what each of them had to say. We'll get to that and wrap things up next.
When it comes to Mother's Day, at Ritual, we believe in giving her flowers. But are flowers what she actually wants? We asked around, and flowers are fine, but most women would prefer science-backed gut support that never wilts. While we're at it, throw in stress relief, our chill pill designed with clinically studied forms of ingredients to reduce daily stress. Did we mention that all of our supplements are clean, vegan, and third-party tested for heavy metals and microbes? Because if you ask us, the thought counts, but traceable science and sourcing count more. Find your ritual. Get what you really want this year, whether you're a mom or not, with 40% off your first month at ritual.com/podcast. That's RITUAL.com/podcast for 40% off your first month. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Hi, I'm Bob Pittman, Chairman and CEO of iHeartMedia. On this week's episode of Math and Magic, I'm sitting down with the one and only Bobby Bones. We're exploring the power of audio.
The word on the street then was he's too country for pop. But then once I got to country, it was he's too pop for country. So I kind of never really had a place to fit in, but that's exactly how and why I fit. I just embraced that. I don't fit into one specific hole. I think that is what endeared me to listeners. That's why I'm here now, because I talk to people that grew up like me, have sensibilities like me, and have loyalties like me.
Listen to Math and Magic, stories from the frontiers of marketing on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
And
It's the Bumper to Bumper Show Wrap.
So we had at our Target Center Skyway location today 3 guests. Most recently, Craig Kilborn. We also had Alan Horton and we had John Krasinski early at about 3:30. And I think I can fairly represent that the reaction from all three is studied concern. I didn't get a sense from any of them, no, stop this. They're not going to be able to handle from the start of a game to a finish to play as well as they did last time. Wolves are not going to shoot as bad as they did. All three of them basically said, until it actually turns, I am pretty worried. I guess I'm surprised at the degree of worry that's there, but is this an example of overreacting to a single game? Is this out of respect for what the Warriors seemingly have put together? Is this out of respect for Steve Kerr? Is this showing we don't have as much confidence in what this team is supposedly capable of doing? What is it?
I think it's everything that you just said. And I don't think it's just necessarily one game either. I think it was Alan that talked about, obviously, Game 5, the way that the Wolves finished Game 5.
Right.
Shooting the ball dreadfully in Los Angeles. They didn't play great in 3 and 4. They finished really well, obviously, in the final 4 or 5 minutes. We always hear cautiously optimistic when it comes to when fans or management or teams, like spring training, we heard that the Twins were cautiously optimistic. This is cautious pessimism, I think. I think everyone's cautiously pessimistic right now. We're kind of dipping our toe in. Yeah. You feel like they should be able to right the ship. Obviously, the pressure's all on them, but until they actually do it and show for an extended period of time that they can just put their thumb down, put their foot down, whatever cliche you want to utter on this team that they should be better than, there is going to be that pessimism or skepticism or concern.
This game needs to be over by halftime.
But that's the thing.
This game needs to be over by halftime.
And I don't know that it will be. Huh? I think the worse.
The longer it goes,
exactly.
The more my concern will grow. I think they have to. I think they have to dominate the first half, and they should dominate. They really should.
You would think.
It's hard for me to believe they will continue to miss shots at the same level. But there certainly seems to be like all that cockiness we had off the Lakers series.
Right.
It's dissipated.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing that I'll be watching for tonight, because what's been consistent about this group for the last couple of years, the thing that annoys Target Center fans more than anything,
yes,
in my opinion,
turnovers,
turnovers, yes, sloppy turnovers, yes. But I think what leads to that some of the time too is the offensive rebounds by the other team, because it isn't just a guy's going up and out jumping Anthony Edwards or Julius Randle or Rudy Gobert, take your pick. A lot of the offensive rebounds they give up are where Gary Payton II sneaks in behind a guy, from 15 feet away and runs into the lane and grabs it. It's like the attentiveness plays, the attention to detail plays. That's the only time Target Center really gets annoyed, is when those type of things happen. Because those, I think, are energy, effort, attentiveness, controllable things. LeBron, the whole series, talked about controlling the controllables last series. Those are things that, when you are the bigger team and really the better team, that's how the scrappier team knocks you out. And I think that's where you hear the murmuring from all the games I've been to the last couple of years. When stuff like that happens, when the perception is you're getting out hustled by a team that you're better than or more talented than, that's when tensions start to rise a little bit. So they got to clean that up tonight. Because it happened in Game 1. 18 offensive rebounds.
Yeah, it did. It's undeniable.
And a lot of them were those hustle plays.
Yeah. I don't even know if we should play tonight. I mean, maybe should we just give them the game? Let's just go down 2 games tonight.
I'm not going to eat anything. I know that.
Well, that's.
I'm nervous because of the game, and I'm nervous because of the health inspector report that Carol Evan just had to drop moments before Game 2.
It's a good scoop.
The truth cannot be controversial.
Well, here's what's weird about it. Why did they? I mean, it sounds like it was a City of Minneapolis report.
Right.
Where are all the other jackals? Why are they asleep at the switch on this?
Good
story?
Sourcing by Carol Evan. They must have got the tip.
It is?
Yeah, they must have got the tip line.
It's a pretty. I'm a little worried about this next guy coming in.
About Parker?
Yeah. I mean, have you and Parker? Have you kissed and made up, or does he still hate you?
We're still.
It's still a little tense?
We're figuring that out.
Yeah.
I think it takes time.
It's complicated. It's complicated.
Yeah, it's like a middle school relationship.
I had no idea it would get that bad. It would escalate.
Did you just come
quickly.
from Lifetime? Were you getting in?
I was lifting.
Curls?
I actually didn't sleep last night. I just did push-ups and sit-ups all night long. So I'm feeling better about myself.
I mixed in a salad too, just for you.
The original tweet, again, let's remind listeners what?
That when I watch Isaiah Hartenstein, is that his name?
Yeah, Hartenstein, I think it's pronounced,
To me, he looks like an AI Parker Fox. Like if you said AI, make a Parker Fox, right? Does he not, Max?
He kind of does.
And I said Parker would look like that if he could find the weight room.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well, that's not that offensive, is it?
And I meant it as a compliment because of how he plays.
I didn't think it was as offensive as people really reacted to on Twitter.
Parker's got a lot of fans.
You can't let the mob dictate the direction you go or your own reaction to. You got to trust your own instincts.
Exactly. And my fans knew I needed to respond in somehow.
It's defend your honor.
It's a Kendrick Lamar Drake type situation.
Exactly.
That might be what it is, yeah.
Is that the right beef?
Would you?
I just don't know which one of you guys is Drake.
That's a good
I'll
point.
take it.
Would you grant that your rejoinder was 5 times more vicious than the original observation from Guardsy itself?
For sure. And people that don't understand the context were like, oh, this guy flamed this dude.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I got him really
Which you didn't
good.
mind.
No.
You actually liked that.
It was a great line.
Exactly.
And the truth cannot be controversial. I have not seen my belt for a long time.
Yeah.
I have seen weights. I passed by them on the way to the Peloton.
Yeah, you see it a time or two.
Yeah. But it was great.
Well, are you trying to bulk up?
I'm currently in the process a little bit. Yeah, just had a...
Regardless of the motivation effort
Exactly.
by Guardsy?
You can always...
You're welcome.
So I ran into you in the elevator bank. You had to go upstairs.
Yes.
So you're trying to get the building. And you said Europe is not a possible to play, and because you just gone to Europe, right, to check out possibilities.
Yeah, well, I was out there watching my girlfriend Taylor play USA hockey, but I was also doing some possibility stuff.
So,
too,
but unlikely now, or can you talk about it?
No, I can talk about it. I just had a third knee surgery, so rehabbing from that. But at the end of the day, just always trying to stay ready.
Yeah,
got my.
Would you like that kind of opportunity though? Are you somebody who's like, hey, Europe? I'd love to try something different like that. Learn, a different part of the world, whatever the case may be.
I think 3 years ago in my career, I would have said I was all over it.
Yeah.
And now it's a little different these days. But if something opened up G League wise that really made sense to me, then I think I'd jump on it.
Fair enough.
I believe in you.
Yeah.
Howlin' with the homies. That's coming up next.
Right
the
now.
shortened version, 6:30 to 7, and the regular pregame show, I think. And then you guys doing wine line after?
We are.
Got to do that as well, for sure.
Hopefully less whining.
Well, I was going to say, if you're as scared as everybody else that we've had on today, you're just conceding already. We're done. Back tomorrow at 3 o'clock from headquarters.
Okay, have you heard about this? Last year, Degree changed the formula for their Cool Rush deodorant. Their fans rebelled and wanted the old scent back. And Degree listened. That doesn't happen often.
They admitted that they effed up and are bringing the original Cool Rush scent back. And it's exactly how you remember it. Cool, crisp, and fresh. There's a reason it's the #1 men's antiperspirant, and it's back in Walmart, Target, and other stores for under $4.
So try it and see what the fuss is about. Head to your local stores to try the OG Cool Rush for yourself.
When it comes to Mother's Day, at Ritual, we believe in giving her flowers. But are flowers what she actually wants? We asked around, and flowers are fine, but most women would prefer science-backed gut support that never wilts. While we're at it, throw in Stress Relief, our chill pill designed with clinically studied forms of ingredients to reduce daily stress. Did we mention that all of our supplements are clean, vegan, and third-party tested for heavy metals and microbes? Because if you ask us, the thought counts, but traceable science and sourcing count more. Find your ritual. Get what you really want this year, whether you're a mom or not, with 40% off your first month at ritual.com/podcast. That's RITUAL.com/podcast for 40% off your first month. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Hi, I'm Bob Pittman, Chairman and CEO of iHeartMedia. On this week's episode of Math and Magic, I'm sitting down with the one and only Bobby Bones. We're exploring the power of audio.
Yeah, I don't fit into one specific hole. I think that is what endeared me to listeners. That's why I'm here now, because I talk to people that grew up like me, have sensibilities like me, and have loyalties like me.
Listen to Math and Magic, stories from the frontiers of marketing on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcast, or wherever you get your podcast.